Wizards Nation, we just finished one of the most historic weeks in franchise history. You know what I mean? I've been doing my best to soak this all in, to record everything. I feel like I gotta buy new iCloud storage, bruh. We have willingly, keyword willingly, suffered. We've been suffering unwillingly for a long ass time, but willingly since 2023, and it all culminated to this week. When we entered the tank in 2023, we dreamed of being blessed with a week like this one. This was the best case scenario. This was the S tier Nirvana case scenario. When I say this is truly the beginning of a new era, I mean it. Dude, I have witnessed top-notch, diabolical tomfoolery throughout my entire life, and I'm still a Wizards fan, dude. Through thick and thin, I stuck it through the mud. We all have. The summer of 2016. Oh my God, bro. They should have paid me. I would have produced just as much as Yamahini, my dumbass out there. You know what I mean? We got freaking Kelly Olynyk. Enough said. I don't even want to talk about it. We move forward. Johnny Davis. The three guard lineups. Raul Neto at the freaking small forward. Brad Supermax. The no trade clause. Also, people forget about this one. Falling to the worst possible outcome in each fucking lottery.
The 9th pick goes to the Washington Wizards. The 9th pick belongs to the Washington Wizards.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Pick number 10 will be made by the Washington Wizards. The 8th pick will be made by the Washington Wizards.
What more do you want from me?
2019 to 2022 nearly ended me.
With the first pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select AJ Dybantsa Jr. from Brigham Young University.
The debate, the conversation, it's over.
We got freaking AJ Dybantsa in our squad now, bruh. We are lit. We are up. Anyway, speaking of a new era, in my opinion, it starts on July 9th against the Jazz, the Summer League schedule right here. Then it's July 12th against the Kings, July 14th and July 15th. We'll see how many games AJ actually plays, but there's that. July 9th is a must-see, AJ versus DP. But yeah, in this video, I just want to do a quick recap of the draft, and just a recap of the vibes. You know what I mean? When I tell you right now that I'm doing my best to cement every single memory in my memory chamber, if all goes well, we will be looking back on these days 20 years from now and be like, dude, remember when AJ got drafted? Remember when Sar got drafted? Remember when we were forming this super team? Oh my goodness. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. So obviously, the headline move was, we selected AJ Dybantsa with the #1 overall pick, widely regarded as one of the most talented prospects in recent draft classes. Dybantsa's coming here to Washington with franchise player expectations that he himself is embracing. We know about the elite size, the athleticism, the shot creation ability, da-da-da-da. And I don't want to go into depth, to be honest. I've made a multitude of videos about AJ Dybantsa and his college stats, his overall half-court rim frequency, collapsing a defense, most free throw attempts per game last year, da-da-da-da-da. We know this. I see it. Aura, gravity, on and off the court. I'm sticking to that, dude. This guy is it.
Hi, AJ over here. Chase Hughes, the Monumental Sports Network. Welcome to DC. You have a great line, which is "I fill seats," and I'm curious, how long has that been the case? When did you start noticing, the crowds were changing and people were kind of becoming drawn to you?
I kind of noticed in 8th grade. I reclassed and I did 8th grade twice, and they let me play a varsity as an 8th grader, which is super rare. And for the first time in school history, they added the yellow tape for more seats in our gym, and I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy. You're not supposed to be selling tickets at a regular high school, and they're over here selling tickets for outside commission, and it was kind of crazy. Then, what I really realized it was last year when I played at TD Garden, just coming back home, playing in Boston, and I looked up, and all the suites were filled and everything, and I was like, this is kind of crazy, to be able to fill out, your home arena.
I fill seats. Music to Ted's ears. That is Beethoven to Ted's ears. But that is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy to Ted's ears. But Ted right now, enough about Ted. We move forward. Anyways, these are the draft grades that, I found on Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, CBS Sports. For the most part, they all gave us A's. But you look at this one, ESPN. They gave us a B. How? How, Sway? How can you get the best player in the draft class and still get a B? You could have drafted freaking Wale in the second round. That will still be an A, at least an A minus. Maybe he's not the best player. I don't know. In the Wizards' eyes, he's the best player, but consensus top 3 player in his draft class. You're leaving with a top 3 player, and we move forward. I'm keeping receipts. ESPN right now is on my hit list. Stephen A. Smith, I'm keeping receipts. I'm going to call out the woodworks when it's time, when it's right. Anyways, the object of the year, not this draft, but the year, was to ensure that we got a franchise player. Like, we knew this class was loaded. As a matter of fact, Will Dawkins confirmed that we've been eyeing this draft class for at least 3 years. We missed out on Flag last year, but, the way I see it right now, like, we got all the complementary pieces, bruh. We got the puzzle right there. The puzzle's already done. We just had that last piece in the middle, and that was AJ. Boom. Puzzle completed. Now it's time to go to work. The way I see it, we got the rim protecting two-way big, Alex R, we got the elite shooters, bro. We got Trigger Trey. We got Trae Young, Bub Carrington. We got the versatile wings who can handle, and facilitate, Keyshawn George, Will Riley. We got the defensive wings, the perimeter wings, Bilal Coulibaly, Jameer Watkins, damn it, point of attack defender right there. We got the energy hustle guy, the top tier energy hustle guy. And Justin Champagnie, one of the best offensive rebounders, pound for pound. We got the premier vets. We got, Trae Young in the fold. We got AD at championship caliber, championship experience. We just needed that last piece, the last infinity stone, and we got it. And putting Trae Young and AD aside, just overall the young Bucks, the young whiz kids in our roster right now, AJ's game fits like a charm. A complete downhill threat, what we didn't have with our Young Bucks right now. I think the only one we had was Will Riley. This guy right here, we're blessed. Anyways, before I continue, I made a list of dudes I want to give a shout out to. I just a little quick shout out before we enter this new era. I want to give a shout out to Coach Keefe. I think Coach Keefe did a masterful tank last year. Also, Coach Keefe deserves his flowers, because last year, the way I see it, like, each young buck had the time to shine throughout the course of the year. The beginning was Keyshawn George and Alex Sarr. In the middle was kind of like Trey Johnson. At the end was like dudes like Bilal Coulibaly, Will Riley. Like, everybody ate last year. It did. It was a masterful tank. Granted, we lost. We went 26-21 in the last 27 games, but screw it. It was all worth it. It was all for AJ Dybantsa. The next one on my list, I want to give a shout out to Will Dawkins and Michael Winger. Those two dudes, Michael Winger, came in here and convinced, first, Ted Leonsis to go through the tank. Boom. Monumental dub right there. Something that freaking Tommy Shepard couldn't do. You know what I mean? Michael Winger hired Will Dawkins. Michael Winger deserves all the props. I mean, I think he needs to be synonymous up there with, Will Dawkins. But, we know about Will Dawkins when he cooked, in the draft. Those two dudes are changing my life, bruh. Anyways, next on my list, shout out to Amber Nichols, the director of amateur evaluation for the Washington Wizards since 2024. She was also the GM of the Go-Go prior to joining us, and the rest of the scouting department, honestly, for kicking ass. We saw Will Riley last year, Keyshawn George. I'm just saying, round of applause for them. Next up, Travis Schlenk. I don't know. Trae Young, I guess. Honestly, I just put him up here because I like saying the last name Schlenk. You can make it a burger, in my opinion. Can I get the Schlenk? Anyways, next on the list, Ted and Zach. I feel like I've never given them a shout out on this channel, but I mean, kudos to them. They stuck to the plan. They didn't switch up. They allowed us to tank for the past 2 years, so there's that. I still have a seething hatred for billionaires. So, anyways, we move forward. Lastly, shout out to Jaden Daniels. I know he is not related to anything. I just want to give him a shout out, bro. This my favorite player right here. He's going to come back and remind everybody why he's him next year. I'm calling it right now. Anyways, let's talk about Felix, our second round pick, who we traded up to get. Shout out to those of us in the chat. We were live streaming it, and we all said, dude, combined 51 and 60, possibly, I know I said this, and some of y'all did too, the highest we can go is 46. And what do you know? Boom, it happened. With Will Dawkins, no second round picks go to waste. Just FYI, cement that in your head, dude. You know, there are no second round picks left behind with Will Dawkins. So, you know, with Felix Okpara, you never know. You never know. I said in my stream that same day, I yelled out, Neemias Queta. For those who don't know, Neemias Queta, the center of the Celtics, actually, you should know. He wrecked us last year at Boston. But, you know, I was just like, dude, if he becomes Neemias Queta, oh my God, we are set. Okpara, you know, 6'11", reported, 7'2" wingspan. He's one of the most effective rim protectors in the SEC last year. He actually earned an all defensive honors at Tennessee and, constantly impacted games throughout shot blocking, interior defense, and physicality around the basket, which is what we sorely need. We don't really have. His offensive game, his offensive bag is limited, to be honest. It's pretty much a rim running big. But this is what Amber Nichols and Will Dawkins had to say about him recently, though.
Will, Felix was all defense in the SEC. What stands out about his defensive talent?
What doesn't kind of stand out on his defensive talent for us? I think with him, he's got the rare ability where he's unique in that he can switch, but he also protects the rim and blocks shots and gets steals, and does it with a low foul rate for someone that protects the rim at that level. So
obviously, let me just point out the most obvious part about him. A possible defensive anchor. If all goes well, he becomes that, or at least a third serviceable big in our roster. But, this man had 52 blocks in 35 games last season, finished his career at Tennessee averaging 1.59 blocks per game, which is the second best mark in the school history. He also ranked among Tennessee's all-time leaders in offensive rebounds, showcasing the type of effort and physicality that translate well to the NBA. Also, a quick little nugget here. He just started playing basketball. I believe he started playing basketball at the age of 14, 15. He was playing soccer beforehand. He's, relatively young. He's still early 22 years old. Obviously still developing his basketball game. This is to me the classic Dawkins upside pick, banking on the continued development. So you never know.
Yeah, honestly, I just think it means there's a lot of room for him to grow as a player. He hasn't had a lot of exposure to basketball the way that others in the States grow up playing grassroots. And I think that's fortunate for us, is that we can use the go-go to develop those skills and continue to work towards making him, a better offensive player, but also refine some of the defensive stuff too.
Also, there were a couple of Nigerians in my stream when we drafted Felix Okpara. They were telling me, dude, us Nigerians, we don't stop growing till we're 24. So if that's the case, you never know. Again, he's 22 years old. So shout out to the Nigerians. They're really cool people, cool dudes, nice culture, awesome culture. But you go to the draft baller numbers and not that appealing. However, again, and I want to emphasize this kid just started playing basketball. He is clearly in the beginning stages of his basketball career. But if you watch the tape, the highlights, the first thing that stands out is the overall ferocity that this kid plays with. This kid doesn't just block the ball. He spikes the shit out of it. But he's playing volleyball out there, But most importantly, putting that to the side, this is the part that excited me about him. You see in each and every tape or highlight clip of him, he is out there switching out into the perimeter and containing these guards. At his size, 6'11", 7'2" wingspan, that right there, that's his soccer background, his quick feet. This kid has quick feet, and that right there entices me right there. And to sum this all up, dude, together, both Dybantsa and Okpara addressed two important needs for Washington. We got our star potential, our top-tier downhill threat, damn it, with AJ Dybantsa. And with Okpara, he provides more front court depth and, defensive toughness. We are on our path right now, all of us as a family, to continued success, which is what Will Dawkins and Michael Winger continuously say in all their pressers. We are all going to make memories together. We are all going to embrace this new era together. We are going to make history together, bruh. I'm gonna speak it to existence. We are on our path to greatness, And one thing that I want to state before I end this video, this overall divisiveness that we had, especially after we won the lottery, one of the most important days in franchise history, we're all just like, dude, a lot of us went the AJ way. There was the Booze FC, DPFC. Respect to everybody. It's over now. They made their decision. Let's all unite and root for our team. This is what made us a family to begin with. You know, like the way I see it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we are all in a car right now, and ideally, Booze FC is driving the car. I think they're the smartest out of the bunch. They're the most analytical people out there. They're the ones who wear a fanny pack on vacations. Like, they're smart as hell. Booze FC is driving this car. You know, you got DPFC in the passenger seat, in my opinion. They're also smart as hell. They got really good memory. Oh my God, top tier memory. But AJFC, y'all know me. I've been there. You know, we're in the back seat. We're in the back. You know, we're the vibes. You know, we're there for the vibes. Most importantly, we're also smart. We're smart, but we don't like to admit it. You know. And then the AJ sycophants, those who just watch the highlight tape dunks and are just like, oh my God, AJ told that. They're also coming with us. You know, but they're in the trunk. I'm putting them in the trunk. They're coming with us to make history. Anyways, we're one big family. We got this. And like Winger and Dawkins said, we are on our path to continued success. And it starts on July 9th. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Till next video, peace, y'all.